Alright, so we're going to go over the study guide. For number 1, it can be found in 13.1, and you can do this two ways. You can make a table, or you can recognize the slope. So the slope here is -3, and I'm going to put that over 1. So that means that we rise -3, and we run 1. So because there's not a y-intercept, we start at 0, 0. And then you go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1, which is the same thing as going up 3 and to the left 1. And then we draw our line. It's going to be a little hard on here for me. You also could have made a table and plugged in for your x and your y. So when I plug in 0, 0 times -3 would be 0. When I plug in 1, 1 times -3 is -3. And then 2 times -3 would be -6. So that's another option as well. All right. For number 2, what is the slope of the line? We are going to use our 2 points. So we have -3, 2, and 2, -1. So remember, we take our y's and we subtract them. So we have -1 minus 2 over our x values. So 2 minus -3, which turns that to a plus sign. So we have -3 over 5, which you can check on the graph by going down 1, 2, 3, and then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since we had to drop 3 and go over 5, we know that it is a negative slope. All right, so we want to graph the equation y equals 47. 47x. So again, you can do this two ways. You can do a table and put in 0, 1, and 2. So 0 times 47 is 0. 1 times 47 is 47. And 2 times 47 is 94. So then you can go over to your graph. 0, 0 is 1 point. 147 is our next point. And then 294 is our third point. Connect those. And there's our graph. We also could have just noticed that our slope was 47 over 1. So we rise 47 and we run 1. So we would go up at 47 over 1, up 47 over 1. And that would also work to show your graphing as well on your test. All right, number 4. So for number 4, it gives us 2 different representations. One's an equation, and this is our train A. And then our train B is a graph. So since train A is that equation, this is our slope. And then train B, we go up 64 and over 1. And we start at 0, 0. So our equation is y equals 64x, with 64 being our slope. And so it's asking us which one was faster or slower. So based on the graph, train A was faster than train B, and that's because their slope is going to be steeper. It's a bigger slope. All right. Graph x plus 2y equals 4. So we're going to plug in our y-intercept. Actually, it'd be easier just to do subtract our x from both sides. And we get 2y equals negative x plus 4. We have to keep this as negative x, and we can't combine it to that 4 because the 4 does not have an x. And now we need y by itself. So we're going to divide by 2 to all the terms. These cancel on the left, and we have y equals negative, and that's 1/2 x plus 2. So we need to start at 2. That's our y-intercept. And then we're going to go down 1 over 2. So down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So my graph looks like this. Make sure you have those 3 points on your graph. Your test is going to be on paper. And so you do need 3 points, and you do need to have arrows going to the edge of your graph. Which equation is shown on the graph? So we need to find our slope and our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is where it crosses our y-axis. So our y-intercept is at negative 5. And then now we just need to find our slope. So we're going to subtract our y's. So 1 minus negative 5, which means we add those, all over 1 minus 0. So 5 plus 1 is 6 over 1. So our slope is just 6. So we combine those, and we have y equals 6x. Remember, our slope always goes next to our x, minus 5. So it's that first equation. Remember, because we have y equals mx plus b, and b is our y-intercept, and m is our slope. All right, number 7. So we need to use point slope form. And so we have y minus y1, which is 4, equals our slope, which is negative 2. And then in parentheses, x minus our x1, which is just our x value. And this is all we do for this question. That's our answer. All right, write an equation in slope and intercept form, but they don't give us the slope and intercept. So we need to use point slope. So first let's find our slope. So 10 minus negative 11 comes to plus over negative 2 minus 5. So we get 21 over negative 7 is our slope. 21 divided by negative 7 is just negative 3. So we have y minus, and I'm just going to use my first set of points. This is like we just learned in 13.7. And so y minus 10 equals negative 3, parentheses x plus 2. And now we're going to bring this 3 through because it says they want it in y-intercept form. And now we add 10 to both sides. And remember, we only add it to the terms that don't have an x on it. So y equals negative 3x plus 4 is our answer there. All right. The table shows the amount y in tons of waste in a landfill after X months. And so we need to find our slope. So we have the point 0, 20. We have the point 6, 16. So let's find our slope. I got negative 2/3. Our y-intercept is 20. So now let's write that in slope-intercept form. So we have y equals negative 20 negative 2/3 x plus 20. And if you scroll down to the word bank at the bottom, you can see that we actually do have that as an option. All right, the slope represents negative 2/3. And that's because it's just asking us to break down the equation. Our y represents 20 tons. And it takes how many months to empty the landfill? That means that if we want it to be empty, we're going to plug in 0 for y and solve for x. So let's solve for x. And you can see that I got 30 months. And so after 30 months, it takes 30 months to empty the landfill, sorry. All right, write an equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. So we're going to do this just like we did number 8. So when you solve for the slope, you get 0, and then you plug that into your point slope equation, and then distribute that 0 through your parentheses. So you get 0x minus 0y on the right-hand side of the equation, which just means that it's 0 over there. And then we have to subtract 9 from both sides, and when we do that, we get y equals negative 9. So our equation is y equals negative 9, and this just means that it's a horizontal line. All right, so you spend $3 on lip balm and hand sanitizer. That's why it's 3 in our total. And I want to know how many tubes of lip balm can you buy when you do not buy any hand sanitizer. So all we're going to do is plug in a 0 for our hand sanitizer. Well, we get 2 because we plug in a 0 for y and then we solve for x. So when we plug in 0 for y, this disappears. 1.5x equals 3, divide by 1.5 on both sides, and we get 2 tubes. For number 13, we have to know how many video games you bought in order to still have $40 left over. So you put 40 in for y, and you solve for x. So subtract 90 from both sides, you get negative 50, divide by negative 10 on both sides. We found out that we can buy 5 video games and still have $40 left over. For number 14, we're going to find the slope, which is what I did here. And when I did that, I found out my slope was 0. I don't know if you remember me drawing this on the board, but a positive slope is going upwards on the mountain. Negative goes downwards. Undefined is straight down the mountain. And then 0 is trying to walk across the bottom of the mountain. So we had a 0 slope, and so that was a horizontal line according to our drawing. For the last one, if you plug in 0 for x to find your y-intercept. So when we do that, we get 4y equals 24, divide by 4 on both sides, y equals 6. And then to find the x-intercept, you do the opposite. So plug in 0 for y, and you get 3x equals 24, divide by 3 on both sides, and you get 8. So now I want you to do a practice test, and let me know how you do.